truth in the glass in the mirror. Do it at me, old man, tryna pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see the ass, and he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad bitches here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the breakfast. Put me in your prayers, I might put you on the guest list. Young niggas in me reckless. Gold in my soul, got the same on my necklace, bitch.
entering it. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm frozen, I think. Yeah. Let me change it. One second. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. Apologies for the slight delay, but we have arrived. This is round 3 of we arrive at the brand new circuit,
Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the head, but it's all fun.
Now arrived
I've seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all.
My name is Adam Reid. I'm bringing you all the reaction live from Laguna Seca. We have a 15-minute qualifying session in progress. We had a pretty difficult Fuji race last time out. That being round 2 of the championship. Round 3 is here at Laguna Seca, and then of course we will head to a few more rounds. I'll go through the calendar for you just in case. We had round 1 at Interlagos before going to round 2 in Fuji. Staying into the left side of the map, we go to Laguna Seca, and then we will head to Europe for Imola. Then we'll head to Daytona, followed by Lusail, followed by Spa, and then Kota for returning to Silverstone for round 9. It will be to be confirmed at the moment for round 11 with Le Mans on October the 1st to cap off the season. I'm really looking forward to this one, and I'm sure everyone back at home is going to be looking forward to this as well. So get your comments in the chat, and we now look to our qualifying session, which is now live and running. They make their way through the opening sequence of as we now arrive at this circuit, which is hosts the likes of the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Has been fabled in IndyCar history, and of course it has been superb in its history. It's been dating back so long, believe, since about the 60s. And of course, edits to this circuit have gone quite the way. But we're heading towards one of the most famous parts of the circuit here with Adam Reid, making our way in towards the short cruise section. It's a 30-foot drop down that sequence. And you head through turn number 9, which continues on this absolute immense set of corners with so much elevation to it. The drivers will be excited. I'm sure the viewers at home will be excited. And I, for one, am really looking forward to seeing how this all comes about. So we now look to see if we can just about get the opening sequence of laps here. We've got Heineberger has returned for the championship, of course being in the LMP. Niels Heineberger won the opening round at Interlagos, and then of course did not appear for the round at Fuji. He will now continue to try and go on his winning ways, but the fastest lap there in the LMGT3 by Oliver, who will be looking to go out on a big hit ahead of this round. Ben Oliver won the previous round in the LMGT3s last time out at Fuji, so he could be one to watch here in his Akodis ASP Lexus. I'll be really intrigued to see how this all kind of pans out, because it's a narrow circuit, this one. You know, there's not a lot of overtaking opportunities. You've got Andretti hairpin down at turn number 2. Then you've got the likes of 2 and then 3, and then it just continues to be really narrow, not much room for overtaking. Then you've got turn 5, which, you know, you can if maybe there's a mistake out of 4, but other than that, you're just following through 6, through turn 7, the corkscrew, turn 9, turn 10, and maybe turn 11 is where drivers are going to get desperate and then send moves up the inside. So that's going to be something to really keep an eye out for. And then it's about just trying to get themselves all the way down to the long straight of the main straight that ends you back up to Andretti hairpin. But this is an absolute joyride for all drivers. So we'll have to see what these drivers do. Here is Josh Christie using what I believe is that a Verstappen.com livery. I'm just trying to have a look, and I believe it is. I think it's just a generic Red Bull livery. I am trying to. It does have the 3 on it. It does have the Decra, so I think it does. It is just a replication of the Verstappen.com livery, but I'm not seeing much Verstappen.com kind of writing about the car. And I think it's just really bright dark blue in that case. So just little bits here and there, but I do like the outline of the Red Bull. So kind of a modern rendition, I'd say, or maybe it does have the outline. I'll need to maybe check on that one, because it's just those little details what I'm looking for. But Josh Christie over the line goes pole in his Mercedes-AMG GT3 with the front engine V8 in the car, so he will be looking to just put himself into a top place. But we'll see what Andy Winters is up to in his, well, speaking of Red Bull, he's got the Red Bull kind of logos and stickers on the side of his Lexus, which has been I think maybe taken out of something called Super GT. It seems like it's got. Apologies for the technical issues on my side, but let's try and see if we can just run through with this one. Andy Winters over the line goes at 3rd. It seems like Hamilton, I believe, also went 4th there, but here comes Tom Mould in his LMP2 over the line. Fastest lap for him, it's 1 minute 12.8 for Mould. He makes his way down in towards Andretti hairpin, a double left-hander corner. So difficult to get right. I'm sure at some point we will get an onboard with maybe one of our drivers. It'll be a great way to get a lap around here. And bearing in mind the LMPs are going around here doing 1 minute 12. That is a very quick lap time. And I think it's something that should really be considered. So yeah, it's going to be a quick lap as this one compared to others. So that's going to be something to really, I think, keep an eye out for. So it's Mold from Reid from Rotac, with Heineberger in P4, Weatherston's in 5th and 6th. And you've got Quinn in P7, Axon and Retalic in P9. So only 9. I believe 9 then in the LMP2s. Here is Matt Haskins running 5th in the LMGT3. So Ben Oliver goes and posts another fastest lap of 22.9. So we'll see how this kind of pans out for the Ferrari, because Matt Haskins is one in a car that should really be a favourite for pole here, because it's with its kind of the way it's designed. It's a really good car with the way the aero kind of works. You know, it's not going to long straight, so I think the likes of the Mercedes and the Lexus should be quite effective, even BMW Ford as well, but the Porsche should go quite well around here as well, both those being mid-engined cars, but we know what it's like with Ben Oliver, with Christie, with Andy Winters as well. So you know, those three having such good pace in their race cars, it's going to be very difficult, I think, to kind of topple that. But I think ultimately it's going to be one where everyone is going to be stepping into the unknown a bit. I think that's the best bit about an event like this. So many drivers just stepping into that unknown, not really sure of how to go about a brand new circuit, but I'm sure they all had to do it before. Meanwhile, here's Tim Patrick in a all carbon LMP2. So I'm not sure if that's livery not loading, or if that's the moment that he's gone through there. Apparently his livery is not loaded, but off onto the gravel into the corkscrew. That's not the most efficient way, I think, to go through that section of circuit. Now have to see what Tim Patrick can do. I think this might be an onboard lap as he goes the wide route round. Oh, it goes into the gravel. I thought that was going to be the setup for a lap then, but I think he's just made himself go a little bit too wide on the cold tyre that he has on his LMP. But we'll have a look here with an onboard lap down towards the first corner of Andretti, down in towards turn number 2, hard on the brakes to get the car in toward the first OPEX. Let it go a little bit wide before tucking back in. Use the curb on the left hand side before bringing yourself back to the left. It's about rhythm through this first sector. You head through turn number 3 and then on towards 4. It's a very quick corner, just a little bit of a lift through that sequence, and then you're going to be back on the throttle, heading your way down in towards turn number 5, and again another really quick corner. So that's why it could be an overtaking opportunity, but it has to be on the entry. A blind turn 6, under the bridge you go, chuck it in, use a little bit of throttle off the exits to make sure you're carrying so much momentum and speed through there, or then braking hard into another blind corner. It's the corkscrew, hit the curb on the left hand side, hit the curb on the right hand side, just having to guess at that point. We'll bring it back to the right, try and use the curb as a bit of a reference before then hitting that apex of turn 9. Really nicely done here from Tim Patrick. But then through turn 10, use that curb on the left hand side, don't go too wide, otherwise you will be finding yourself in the gravel. We're braking really hard. He goes over the big sausage curb, but tries to get the best exit, and you have to close the line, and it's going to be a 1:17.0 for Tim Patrick. So that just kind of shows the the amount of effort between the likes of Mold and Patrick, when that it seems like those times are being separated by about 5 seconds. I believe a couple of them. Oh, we've got Eden Hassad in the Aston Martin, the Heart of Racing Aston Martin to be more specific, and it looks like he has gone off. Has he done that down in towards turn 5? I would love to know, because it has really been such a really difficult one in that case. Turn 5 is a place where you can lose the rear of the car. It's just, how on earth did he do it? But I'm sure we'll have to move aside from that one. It will be Elias Hassad to try and get another lap in. Meanwhile, we got the Porsche here of Bademosi in the man-type Porsche. So this is the livery used in the World Endurance Championship, used in DTM, and I think they've also made their appearance in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. So this car and livery has been fabled in motorsport modern motorsport history, but it's won so many times the Nürburgring. I think a record amount, but I can't quite remember the number off the top of my head. But it is, you know, one of the most at the Nürburgring. Now move back to Elias Hassad in the number 29 Aston Martin Racing, trying to use his vision to the best of his abilities. And we just hit 9 p.m. in sim time, so it's going to be starting to get those cooler temperatures. I wonder if the temperatures are going to be playing a little bit of a factor, because I covered a racer, in fact, last night, where track temperatures hit 52 degrees peak, which is just unbelievable. Seriously, I don't really understand how drivers survive in those heats. The tires must go. Luckily, it was a sprint race and not an endurance race, so it just seemed in that stage that you were able to, you know, do a little bit of tire, you know, conserving. There's still a lot of saving having to do. That is going to be the end of qualifying here for the third round of the LMU Apex and Chill Thursday League, as we've had a really stunning qualifying session. We'll bring you a grid in just a moment, but it's going to be Tom Moll from Heineberger on the front row of the grid. Dan Reid will be alongside Rokash in fourth, who spun from the lead of the race last time out. He'll be hoping for better. It's the two Weathersons on the fifth and sixth row of the grid, with Axon and Quinn. AO Racing's Spike having another go once again at the fabled Laguna Seca speed circuit. Then we find Tim Patrick ahead of Italic in 9th and 10th. Then we move on to the next row. We've got Aiden Hassad in second in the LMGT3, with Christie in 13th. Then we move on to Andy Winters and then Harmelund up in 15th. Remember, because one of our drivers is not racing, just move them up a little bit. 16th for Ike, and then we'll move on a little bit further down to Parker and Belling onto the 10th row of the grid. Figueroa and Wood in 21st and 22nd. For Exton Badamosi, and Scott Cruz will be 22nd and 23rd. And I wonder if these guys are going to be racing, because I haven't seen them. Well, they did set times. Craig Needham hasn't set a time, in fact, but yeah, luckily I think got his medal for his overtake last time out at Fuji Speedway. So we are now put 1 hour and 15 minutes on the clock here around this incredible 3.5 kilometer circuit. Formation lap has started. We get the radio message from race control. The engines fire up, and the first set of corners we head is the corkscrew. A absolute incredible set of corners, but this is the points where the tensions now rise. The focus is going to be impeccable. It is going to be one of the most nervous points of the race for these drivers, because there's big points up for grabs. They want to be doing the best they possibly can. 10 LMP2s will take to the grid. I believe 17 LMGT3s. This is going to be one heck of a night of racing, with multi-class being an absolute pinnacle. Watch out for when the LMP2s hit the GT3s for the first time, but one corner to go through turn number 11, and they'll head their way onto the main straight. Round 3 of the LMU Apex Racing and Apex and Chill Thursday League is about to go green. We drop the green flag and we go racing at Laguna Seca down towards the first set of corners. A cover up from Mold, but look at that. I believe that's Heineberger on the attack around the on the inside. My apologies. And Rokash tried to go on the outside, but didn't quite have the grip in those in that second phase to be able to get themselves. Oh, that's going to be the AO racing a spike going further down of Axon. So Axon has gone around. That's going to be absolute heartbreak from for them. They're going to have to spin it back round and then try and get going. Maybe with the virtual energy, but heading up toward the blind turn 6 for the first time. And it's Mulder from Heineberger, from Rokash from Reid, then from 2 Weatherstones from in 5th and 6th in towards the corkscrew then for the opening lap. And look at that, it's hard braking from Heineberger, really trying to put himself into a great position to try and maybe get past Tom Mold. Of course, has had a really good set of results. Second in Interlagos, a win last time out in Fuji in the LMP2s. And he'll now look to try and break away. But how many drivers will be going with that leading pack? It looks like 4. Tom Mold will lead from Heineberg, Niels Heineberger. And then it will be Akio Rokash. And Reid in 4th. We'll switch back to the LMGT3 because here comes the Aston Martin down the outside, and that's going to be a big send here from the number 27. Will Aiden Hassan be able to go around the outside? Not quite. He decided to back off in that case, and now Jake Christie might see an opportunity to go on the attack here against Aiden Hassan. So down towards turn number 5. It just continues to just build in momentum. These are the opening laps where drivers are still going to be feeling out the conditions, seeing what their car is doing in the opening minutes of this race. You've really got to think about everything that's been going on around your car. One of those points where you're just having to really make out what you're doing. Of course, there's a lot of time management going, a lot of fuel management, virtual energy management. We've got a replay, but yeah, it hasn't quite worked. That is Alan Axon, who's been hit. Well, let's see, being hit around. Did he just go into the side? Oh, and he's been hit there by the BMW, and that may have caused a little bit of damage, I think, unfortunately. So that's Michael Wood being involved in that one. And it looks like we've got that's not the last of the replays, because we've got 2 drivers now between Dean Weatherstone and June Quinn. David Weatherstone, oh, it's a tough one. Oh, just being pushed out onto the outside there by June Quinn. It was a bit of rough and tumble, but yeah, the number 9 has managed to move on through. This is now the top 4 once again. It's Niels Heineberger who's moved into the lead of the race. What has happened to Tom Mold then? Moves down to 4th. He made an error on the circuit. Yellow in the first sector. That is Jackson in the Sol 720S GT3 McLaren. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a shame for him. Niels Heineberger goes and sets the fastest lap. Rokash just follows in behind. This is the replay then of how the lead was presented on a plate. This is Heineberger on Mold then. Heineberger, oh, it's a lockup. It's a lockup from Tom Mold, and that is what happened. So pretty much it was a lap before, whilst we were looking at the replay, that's happened. Tom Mold has got to try and gather himself back up, put himself in the action once again. We now see Elias Hassan up against Andy Winters in the battle for the lead. Elias is able to challenge Andy Winters. So they've been picked up into 10th place. as it now seems that we did have that AO racing car in the LMP2 of Alan Axon go around, so he's having to try and make his way back up through the field, and he has decided to throw in the towel, and I haven't quite been able to see him. So now this is going to be Ben Oliver. Ben Oliver, I think, has not had the best start so far. He's been a little bit on the struggle bus, it seems like, but he's got a big stand there on Dennis Ike. Can he get past the old pink Porsche? The 999 has been a really strong contender in this one. If we now look at the Corvette, which gives a really nice sounding engine, does that. I think it's a V6 potentially, but that's one that I might have to go back into the research books for. But it does look like the 33 Corvette is still running at a really solid pace here. And Oliver is seemingly a little bit stuck at the minute. You know, he's not got an advantage of Dennis Ike. At the same time, he's just having to build momentum at this rate. See what the car is offering in these early stages. Again, so Dennis Ike having to go defensively, park that car into the middle of the circuit, having to try and see and track the moves of Ben Oliver. And towards turn number 5, would he be able to look for a move? Sure on that one, no. Another replay here, plenty of replays coming in thick and fast. This is Tom Mould and Dan Reid in the battle for 3rd place. Tom Mould, it's the same story, but Dan Reid has gone off the circuit. And Tom Mould goes a little bit wide then. So that's going to be a battle between the number 44 and the number 29 TDS Racing. That is from the, I believe, the European Le Mans Series livery from TDS Racing. 2 years ago, because I don't remember that livery being there last year. So continue to pick down the laps in these early stages. We join the battle here with Scott Cruz in 11th in the LMGT3s. Elias Hassad has managed to go into the fastest lap, so he will be the danger man, I think, in the LMGT3s at the moment. It's a special one of delivery here for Scott Cruz, and it looks absolutely delightful. I think it's going to be used for the special events. Will Cruz be using this for, as he now looks up the inside of the Lamborghini with a dress in a Verstappen.com livery. I'm sure that's not a rare sight to see Verstappen.com just splash on any car, any livery. You know, you'll probably see it on Formula cars, you'll probably see it on GT3, probably on LMPs, probably on hypercars, but a mistake there from the Lamborghini in front. Scott Cruz is going to go to the outside. He's now going to have to try and maybe cut back inside, which he does. Manages to duke out the Lamborghini. Will he get the exit down towards turn number 6? Now this is going to be the dangerous part. He's going to have to brake a little bit early, but has managed to get ahead there of the Lamborghini of Comstra. Now here come the LMP2s coming into the fray. That was, I believe, Heidenberger. Heidenberger managing to really be able to push on forward. He's extending that gap out to Rokash, so he's now going to go around the Ferrari here of Haskins. A lot of lock on the steering wheel, but this is what he's going to see, because you see that Lexus in front of, I believe, what is Ben Oliver, I believe, but that's going to be Harman, my apologies, in the BMW. And this is going to be a great example of traffic management. I may have picked him up a little bit too early here, but you're just seeing that BMW in front. He sees the gap going there. He can brake later than the even heavier BMW. And will move on through. So now he's got a little bit of free air, whilst the rest of his LMP2 competitors still have to get past that BMW of Harmelin. So that's going to be something to really keep into consideration for those drivers. And we have Rokash about to now go past that BMW. And just as I was speaking about them, there is Tom Mould having to go very aware of, I think, Rokash for the moment. He's now just sitting behind. Try and maybe maneuver his way some point, but I think he's going to need a little bit of traffic in doing so. Looks like Dan Reid has dropped quite a bit back here from this leading pack. Both of them go a little bit too wide, but it's it's Rocash taking gravel with him. We've had a couple of DNFs as well, it seems. I think Alan Axon, after that spin, just thought, I'm not doing this race. I think we've got Esmond out of the race as well. I think there's a couple more in there as well. Hopefully that'll be the maximum of our DNFs to this race. Now we look to Ian Hassad, still batting away here, but Jake Christie is doing a little bit of saving before inviting himself into the battle for the lead here at the LMGT3 class. I think that was also an LMP appearing onto the scene. And a penalty here for Michael Wood. So that is the contact potentially with Alan Axon, because he didn't do it on purpose, but he kind of just went straight into the LMP driver. Any real kind of reason. There you can see now, there's the exit. Now Elias Hassad has managed to go side by side with Andy Winters and goes ahead of the Lexus, but now it's about the braking zone down towards the first corner. They try and shorten out the straight here, and that will be the lead change. Elias Hassad up into the opening place, the lead of the race, I should say, for the LMGT3. The great move there from the Aston Martin GT3 driver. I think Andy Winters will be a little bit livid with that one. We've had a little bit of a contact in my ear, and we'll see that right now between Niels Heineberger, who's going to go through here on Winters. There's the contact. That's why Andy Winters is going to feel so aggrieved by that move by Niels Heineberger, because that allowed the Aston Martin to move ahead. Michael Winters will be given chat. Guys, so we are actually now experimenting with live stewarding. We're just trying to figure out if that was the game where our live steward dishing out that penalties to Michael Wood. So we'll try and get a clarification of that for you. Just see there Jake Christie getting attacked there by the Iron Links Proton number 9 car. Oh, that's going to be a bit of a move, and that's going to be June Quinn. So June Quinn in that Iron Links Proton car has gone on through. Meanwhile, Dan Reid has been stuck behind Andy Winters, and that has really paid off. We've got a comment from our live steward. Not me. He has held his hands up. That was not our live steward. That was in fact the game moving the penalty to Michael Wood. So really interesting to see him deciding on that one. I'm not going to take too harshly on that one, but we do have a replay potentially. So this is the replay then that is being presented to you. So this is Michael Woods in the Car Guys Ferrari. So looks like that's reversing in the pit lane. So that could be the penalty there. He's gone into the pit lane, jumped his box, and rolled back into spot, which could be classed as dangerous driving. Oh, big moment there for Dan Reid off the exit of the corner. That could be all sorts of Larry off the back corner. So Dan Reid is just going to try and push on forward, but yeah, just lacking the pace for the moment. He's back here to our wonderful Scott Creed, who's trying to catch here Matt Haskins. Matt has been really, really good so far. Nothing too incredible, but he did get a finish of 5th place last time out at Fuji. So I think you'll be absolutely delighted with the way that's gone. Niels Heineberger sets the fastest lap of the race for 1:13.9. But you're just seeing the BMW being still lurking there in the background. So we'll see if the Ferrari can just stay ahead on this one. It shouldn't really suit the conditions, but I do believe that it's not quite been what it seems to have been wanting. So as the race kind of continues to unfold, there is an investigation between Andy Winters and Neil Heineberger for that collision off the last corner. So there's not really much to say on that account. We'll let our stewarding do the offering or the dishing out, but I'm not going to say anything that kind of implement a penalty to either party. But this is a penalty to Chuck Retallick and Barry Weatherston. Moves back Weatherston off into the gravel. And then I think maybe Retallick has been retaliated on here potentially. Down towards the last corner, we'll see. That's a very early braking for Chuck Retallick, and then Barry Weatherston has just gone straight on into the gravel trap. It's not an ideal situation. Is that for Weatherston? An update on the incident between Winters and Heineberger. No further action, says our live steward. So that will now. That's pretty much what I was going to say. There was not really much, in that case. That's just classic IMSA racing, I would say. IMSA has a real interesting style of the drivers being so aggressive for their racing. It's so I wouldn't say iconic, but it's exactly what you know in IMSA. So I kind of expected a move like that, especially around a circuit where it's so condensed. It's almost like a Brands Hatch in that sense. And we now see Ben Oliver trying to dive up the inside of the Porsche. Is he going to turn in? There's contact between the two. Ben Oliver has saved it. That was a really, really good save, but has indeed dropped a position to the Corvette. Towards the culture he goes, and I think that's going to be a little bit of frustration to Ben Oliver. Here is now Rafael Figueroa. Oh, he's going to go for a spin, and he picked him up almost the perfect time. He's hit somebody. That's a big incident there. He's going to spin his way back round and into the pit lane, and we now have Klopstra in the Verstappen.com Lamborghini, who's got a drive-through penalty for track limits. It can happen in this game, on this track, I should say. Now going to replay with Rafael Guerdo. You can see the Corvette spinning. I just didn't hold brakes. That could have been so much worse. I think, honestly, we were so lucky. Was both parties in that case, but Guerdo has managed to make his way back to the pits. Meanwhile, this is the Mercedes up against the Lexus. Christie will be up against Andy Winters on this one, down towards turn number 5. It's a really interesting one because these two will be battling away. It's still a replay which has been going on for quite the long time. Through turn 6, and then we fast forwards to the current time. Looks like Winter's still ahead of Chrissy, and it's like Hassad has extended his lead out. He's been quite the distance as well, because he's lapped an LMGT3 here. So 5 seconds of the gap here is Josh Chrissy looking up the inside. And there we go. Figueredo now is getting a drive-through penalty courtesy of race control. Down towards the middle section of the circuit. So Heineberger from Mold, from Rocash, from Quinn, Reid, Weatherston, from Dean Weatherston, from Patrick, from Barry Weatherston, and Metallic. That's what LMP2s. Hassad Winters, Chrissy top 3 in the LMGT3. We now look back to Scott Cruz and Matt Haskins. That's been a move that has been made in the recent minutes of this one. Now look at one of our LMP2s going up the inside. I wonder if Matt Haskins will see that as an opportunity. But unfortunately, won't take the move this time around. So Scott Cruz would have to just keep defensive on this part. Expect pit stops as well during this race. They'll be fueled to their maximum. And expecting to maybe take on between 30 to 50% of virtual energy. Now see the Iron Lynx Proton trying to go on through. We switch back here to Tim Patrick, who's now looking to get past some traffic in the way. Cuts down David Weatherstone. I don't know where I've been getting Dean from. I think it's just probably a name that rolls better off the tongue than David. So apologies, David, in that respect. These two continue to have a really, really good battle. The fabled numbers, which I'm not going to say, just in case I get absolutely clipped up and then turned into a soundboard. In that case, they'll head their way through the opening sequence of corners, and you're just seeing how much Tim Patrick is having to work. He's going to go into the barrier. I don't think he's going to be working too much more after that heavy slam. Has he lost anything on the car? A rear wing, a front nose, a tyre? Doesn't look like he is out of the race here. Too much damage. What happened here? Oh, he's just lit up the tyres. Heavy, heavy impact with the tyre barrier. He's moving, but I don't think. Yeah, I just don't think he's going to have to. He's going to have a long way to crawl back to the pits if a pit stop is needed. But yeah, he's lost 2 places. He's going to drop right down to 9th. Looks like a bit of a low vegetable energy for some drivers already in the field. I thought I saw Dennis Ake in 14th, was 1% left in the tank. So I wonder if, with the amount of time left in the race here, is he going to have to now come into the pits in the next 3 laps and then go to 100%? And that's a Manti stopped on the outside of turn 3. Apparently it's contact. I wondered if it was an equipment failure. So this is Joachim June Quinn and Dennis Ike, and then a little bit of contact there. That was just typical endurance racing contact. If you don't go to, if you don't have that, then you're even in an endurance race. That is excellent, Bademosi. I think he's had an equipment failure. He's got going, but yes, I think he's had an equipment failure, because you don't just stop randomly on the outside of turn 3. Scott Cruz and Haskins. It's a battle that's going on all race long, as it seems. The BMW up against the Ferrari. Scott Cruz was at one point behind Haskins, but that has now changed in terms of positions, because now the BMW is ahead of the Ferrari, which I feel a little bit disappointed, because I was told at the beginning of the race that, you know, the Ferrari would be suiting this circuit, and I don't think that Max Haskins is doing it all too proud, because it seems like it's very heavy. That's the thing. I said that it may be interesting about what these front engine cars will do, because they're, you know, usually quite heavy. They're able to take curbs. It just seems like the top 5 now, or made that top 4, it was front-engined heavy kind of cars. Aston Martin, the Mercedes, the Lexus, the Ford. And there was a BMW momentarily up into 5th of Hamilton, but he's been overtaken there by the pink Porsche of Dennis Ike. Scott Cruz continues to try and push on and just see if he can, you know, push himself a little bit forward. But Haskins, it's really competitive through the corners. Now look here to the LMGT3 again. It's got so much potential, this this LMGT3 group, because there's, you know, so many drivers that have entered into the LMGT3. There's Tim Patrick gets a 10-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Taking the Lewis Hamilton route, it seems like, in that case. I wonder how much he sped over. Maybe, what, 0.1 of a kilometre an hour? I'm sure there'll be, I don't think you can pull out any cards on that time. Andy Winters will now try and push his way forward, because the Lexus looks really, really good at his hands, but again, now moving down to second. That's not the way he wants to be going about this race, because he's been in the top 2 in the last 2 races, but with the way the form is going at the moment, he should be going to 3rd. Right, thank you very much for the facts in my ear. Andy Winters is playing on a pad, and not by like a, you know, if you don't know what I mean by pad, imagine, just get your Xbox controller, your PlayStation controller, hold that in your hand and try and steer with it. That's what he's dealing with in a minute, which I think is absolutely phenomenal, and I think it is a real testament to, you know, you don't need a whole $5 grand, 10 grand setup to be quick at sim racing. Sometimes you just need your thumbs. Sometimes you just need your thumbs. It looks like we've got a replay coming up in just a moment. Tom Mould and Chesterton. Tom Mould going up the inside of Glenn Chesterton. Again, it's a typical IMSA / Laguna Seca move. Just goes up the inside, a little bit of desperation to try and catch the race leader, and you end up having a little bit of contact. Trust me. Go back and watch some of like the extended highlights from Laguna Seca with the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Trust me, it's great stuff. You know, I'm sure they've got a race coming up soon at some point. I'll probably find it for you, but I know a couple of people, including myself, that are quite the advocates for the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. I can confirm for you their next race is on the 2nd this weekend at Road America, so highly recommend you go and watch that. So now this is Ben Oliver and Kompstra. Wesley Kompstra, of course, having that penalty earlier on in the race for his Lamborghini. He'll hope to maybe try and fight back, but it's up against a strong opponent, I believe, in the form of Ben Oliver. into the corkscrew we pick up Michael Woods, who of course got his livery. Say change of livery. He's changed his entire car, and I can confirm this because if I go down to our championship standings and try and find Mr. Michael Woods, who trying to remember where he is. Mickey Woods, there he is. It does say Ferrari, but yeah, I'm sure I can go over to the results, and it'll be down as a. It should be down as a BMW. StimGrid is not doing us a favour. The cheeky little fellow. 44 minutes left to go in this, what was it, 75-minute race here at Laguna Seca. So it's been a good race so far, especially in the LMP2 GT3s. We now pick up Niels Heineberger. This is something you don't really see. A race leader getting coverage, see leading a race by a good margin. Having to go past... what car is that? Is that a Lexus, I believe, he's gone past. So really, really good stuff on that one. But yeah, he's just continuously building a really strong lead is Niels Heineberger. He managed to get that win in Sao Paulo in really, really good fashion. But now should be able to pick his way into, well, hopefully be a race win. Look up the two cars going side by side, one of them being, I believe that was Winters. I think that was also one of the Manti cars that we saw stopped earlier on. Look at the traffic involved in this here. Got Jake Christie second in his class, but now got the leader Niels Heineberger, who I think will be a little bit of a rush. You know, not too much of a rush, but like a modest rush. Try and get through some of these cars, and he gets past that Lamborghini. Oh, I think there may be a bit of contact between the two, but again, that's going to be no investigation necessary. Past the Aston Martin race leader, and then the Garage 59. I think I might want to have a look at that McLaren, because I think I recognise the livery. I might recognise where it's from. So down towards turn number 3, it's Jackson. I think that is the. Let me try and get my. That looks like a GT World Challenge livery. Oh, maybe it was using wet, but they're using the 58, which the Garage 59 team like to use. So I think that may be similar on the style to their GT3 Pro car, because the sponsor on the side is sponsors Benjamin Goethe, Oliver Goethe's brother, who's in Formula 2. So since for quite a long time, that livery, I'm not going to try and say the name because it's just speeding past me at 100 miles an hour. But yeah, that sponsor has been in connection with Benjamin Goethe for a very, very long time. Probably since his Formula Regional days, and it's just been carrying with him. So that is a GT World Challenge Pro car livery in a sense. There you go. I am a nerd. We seem to be playing basically Scott the livery in this case. Let me load up the live chat, see if we've got anyone involved. We in fact have people chatting away. Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see that you are watching with great intent. There goes the second place car in the LMP2 build of Christie. So he's now just going to try and close in here on It's sad, but he is, I think, almost 4 seconds behind the 141. Of course, Hassad also in that Aston Martin Vantage GT3. As we see, excellent Badamosi. The drive-through penalty for pit lane misbehaviour. So I wonder if he's maybe gone over some lines that you're maybe not supposed to go to. So that's my little suspicion. We look like we do have a replay coming in for you, and it is the Manti. Is he gonna have to reverse now into his box? Oops. Welcome to paddock scenes with Apex and Chill. He's gone back to the pit lane. No, the paddock, sorry. That is the paddock for Laguna Seca. Because, of course, that's all set up in the style of IndyCar. Or that's their usual pit lane. They don't really have pit garages in this race. So that seems to be a DNF there for Badamosi. Make it the 5th DNF of the race. Very common there for Ilyas Kamari. I think that's how you say your name. Your brake is not my bumper. Really, really good stuff. With some Mount Belling. My worst race start for me in some time. Not having any luck in Apex and Chill. Well, hopefully you are blessed with luck at some point. I don't know if I can bring that to you. We'll have to see if my kind of curse continues, because we've had a couple of drivers have bad races last time around, and I was saying that yeah, that might just be down to me. So if you have a good race in Sao Paulo and then you have a terrible rest of your season, I think there's one person to blame. Oh, that's a big of a moment there for Adam Reid, having to jump on the brakes there. June Quinn was stuck behind that Mercedes Verstappen.com livery. Adam Reid really pushing hard now on towards turn number 5, and pit stop should be coming in fairly soon. I want to see what's going on with Dennis Ike in a moment. Oh, this is going to get sketchy through turn 6, the blind left-hander. Will Dan Reid potentially go for the move? Of course not, down in towards corkscrew, unless he wants to be the hero of the race. Come on, Dan, for the clips. For the clips, Dan. I don't think he's going to do that. Too much of a sweat. There's a really good fight between the two. The sweat has gone a little bit wide. So through 10-11 and on toward that main straight. Again, that virtual energy is just going to be continuing to burn a little bit further down. As I say, I'd love to see what some of the levels are looking like at the moment, because I wonder if they're just stuck at the minute. It looks like Dennis Ike has made his way into the pit. He gets hit there from Ben Oliver and gets shunned. Well, I almost said a word, but I'm not gonna say that. But just in case it comes out wrong. But yeah, he just got shoveled out onto the gravel. Ike. We now have a replay, it seems like, between the two. Here we go. So, June Quinn, a lot of error on that car. Just goes up the inside. I think that might be penalised, because the move was barely on. That was barely an LMP2 gap to go into. And he knew that he was being pressurised, and I think he's even handed the place over. Yeah, because Dan Reid's now in 4th. So all of that malarkey for Quinn to just drop it as always. I should say as always, that was really mean. I do apologise, but he just kind of dropped it after doing all of that. lot of love there for the Scots BMW. Scott Cruz in 14th overall. I believe that's sixth. In the sixth in the LMP2 rankings. I think Scott has had some really good season so far. Decent season, I shall say. We continue to look around the field. Scott Cruz, 2 7th places, and that is the number 27 of Rokash. Yaki Rokash has had a bit of an error. Oh, and he's trying to get out, and that's at the corkscrew. So I wonder if he tried to go down the inside, lost the rear. It's all just come undone for Yaki Rokash. Still trying to get it out. Oh, and it's just now finally been free. Oh, he's just too late on the brakes, locks up. Oh, into the tyre barrier. Now going to spin back around. Our race control notification just coming in through now is June Quinn under investigation for forcing the car off the track. That had been noticed by our live stewards. And then that's going to be, I feel, a penalty is coming in that way. Oh, my right handle just straight broke off. The shifters were still there, so I could have tried to keep racing. That is from Belling. Bad luck for some of our drivers in this race. It's been a difficult one. Here are the two similar livery cars. I think that's the two Weatherstones who are kind of rocking. I think it was Scotland's. Is it? No, I think that was another driver potentially. I'm trying to. Might have to try and get some notes down and get a spotter's guide. I think that might be the best way to go about things. Weatherstone, both Weatherstones, Daniel and David and Barry, off the exit of 10-11. They'll still be challenging each other down in towards Andretti Hairpin, named after the famous Formula One world champion Mario Andretti. He was crowned in 1978. Oh, and David Weatherstone's lost it. Dip into the gravel. Oh, just a bit of a shame for Weatherstone. He was going so well. David just drops it into the gravel. Oh, that must be so frustrating. Ah, he got stuck up behind the BMW. And that's the bit we didn't see. That would be a big frustration for David Weatherstone. Just got stuck up behind the BMW, had nowhere to go, and then just unfortunately went round. Look at the pile of cars heading through off the exit of the corkscrew. Corkscrew having 16-degree gradient. That is quite something. I do want to give a reminder to everyone to go and like the stream, share the stream, and subscribe to the Apex and Chill YouTube channel right here, right now. We'll try and give you the best content we possibly can, the best racing. I'm sure if you look down in the description, we can give you a link to our Discord. So if you want to race with us, you're more than happy to do so. What a fantastic race we have. There is David Weatherstone. He's now being chased down by Yaki Rokash after overtaking Chuck Vitalik, who's in his home event. Oh, that's a moment there for David Weatherston. The Norwegian driver has had a little bit of an error, so multiple errors here for David Weatherston. This is going to be really, really frustrating for him. 2 mistakes in these latter stages, or the mid stages of the race, I should say. Here is Adam Reid in the TDS Racing livery. Oh my goodness me! Wow! Almost going into the Ferrari, and he spins again. Don't rejoin, don't rejoin, don't rejoin. Oh my goodness me! This is how has he not hit something? Adam Reid very lucky to keep out of the side of other cars, or I should say, keep the front going into the side of his car. But he will drop to 4 after all of that. So the race continues to now build. We look back to Scott Cruz, who now is up to 5th place here. Pits here from Andy Winters and Klompstra, the Lexus and the BMW initially, and also we've got Elias Hassad on 40% of his virtual energy. I think also June Quinn has come into the pits recently, because why on earth is he on 100%? That's really interesting to me. I'm sure we'll try and get some form of confirmation with that. Really trying to build on the momentum we've got going on in this race, because it has been absolutely fantastic. I think we are starting to get close to the 28 minutes to go mark. I've had just covering my I've not been noticing that, but I was thinking, yeah, it's got to be close to about, what, half an hour now? And I just see 28 on the board. I'm like, oh. But in towards the final corner, and for Scott Cruz, it's been a great day of racing. He heads his way in towards the Andretti hairpin. Of course, Mario Andretti, one of the most famous American race car drivers. I'd say American race car drivers as well. 1979 Formula One world champion, 1950, I believe, Indy Daytona 500 winner. His son, 1969 Indianapolis 500 winner. And news just in, June Quinn been awarded a 10-second time penalty for pushing another car off the track. That will go in the direction of Quinn. So we now look on to what could potentially be here. So it's still Heineberger at the top of the forefront, with Moles in second, and then we have June Quinn, who's now been handed that time penalty. And it'll be Dan Reid in fourth, I should say. Then you got Barry Weatherston now ahead of David Weatherston, the 2 Norwegians in 5th and 6th place. David, the latter, has been having a little bit of a difficult time. So it looks like only Rokash and Chuck Ritalik have made pit stops in the LMP2 build. Rokash down to 7th, Ritalik down to 8th. We've had 5 DNFs so far in this race, which has been mighty to watch. Replay here of what I believe is June Quinn and Hammerland down towards turn number 4. Oh, again June Quinn in that Iron Lynx Proton, just seemingly becoming a little bit of a penalty magnet. He must be getting a bit frustrated, I think, because it's been not the race that Quinn has been wanted, because he is now been handed a 10-second time penalty. He's done that, and now looking at being under investigation again. 25 minutes left to go in this race, and June Quinn finally makes his way into the pit lane, but I don't think we have his available data due to him still being on 100% of his virtual energy tank. So the LMP2 Iron Lynx Proton will now sit in the pit, so we'll be interested to see if he can get overtaken here by Yakir Rokash, who, remember, had that incident at the corkscrew. So I suspect June Quinn will be able to make his way into sixth place with no problems, as Tom Mould makes his way now into the pit lane. He's in second. So they'll maybe try and 30% in his virtual energy tank. Meanwhile, it's still Elias Assad. Starting to get pretty low on that virtual energy. So is Jake Christie and Parker, the top three. What about Hammerland in P4? Then you got Scott Cruz, Haskins, Andy Winters. They're trying a big undercut here. Yellow in sector 2 for David Weatherston. So something's happening now with that car. This looks like it's going to be the replay, and he's lost it at turn 6. Oh, he's gone 180 degrees. Is he going to do the full 360? No. But very, very lucky for David Weatherston that he ended up on the left-hand side of the circuit rather than maybe stage right and into a pile of tyres. So once again, oh, we've got another yellow in sector 1 this time, and it is the American of Chuck Ritalik. Has he lost the car? He's done the same thing. Oh, and he's backwards in the middle of the circuit, which is never a good sign, but luckily drivers there to avoid him. It looks like the black and red car, again, was very, very aware that that BMW was about to streak through. So I want to say thank you very much to everyone that has tuned in so far into the third round of the LMU Apex and Chill Thursday League. It's been a mighty, mighty race so far, especially with the traffic that's happened. And it's just been about survival, I'd say. There's been so much to take into consideration throughout this race. I think a lot of the drivers has been just trying to get through. And we now see Victor Hammerland currently in 12th. I think that is 4th in the LMGT3s. So Quinn and it seems like Hammerland, as predicted, is under investigation. David Weatherston, I think he's has something wrong. Oh, that is the rear wing. And if you know something about LMU, you'll put 2 and 2 together. That equals 4, and he's going to be retired from the track, retired from the race, and he's stuck. He's actually beached it on the curb. He's managed to somehow get back going, but for David Weatherston, he will become our 6th retirement of the race. He's managed to get it to the entry of the pit lane. Here comes the Aston Martin of Hassad. That must have been a big, big shock for Elias Hassad. My goodness me, that could have been all sorts of trouble. They'll head their way into the pit lane then, and they'll stop on their marks. Weatherston will, I think, maybe retire from this race then. Now wait for Weatherston to make his pit stop. Out onto the start-finish straight comes the Swedish driver of Elias Hassad. Comes out behind the Lamborghini driver of Klopstra. Those two have been embroidered in a little battle for now, but we're straight on past the Lamborghini. So it'll be a sad now second behind Christie, but remember Christie still hasn't been made a pit stop yet. So the Verstappen Racing Mercedes is going to now be on the prowl. I wonder if he's going to immediately react. No, he thinks he can go faster on this current stint. Look how low the the virtual energy tank is in a minute. And they've now got the challenge here of trying to pull that up perfectly. So Christie now comes into the first corner. It says he was in the pit lane, I thought for a second. And we do have confirmation, and it's a 10-second time penalty for June Quinn for causing a collision. Final warning for repeated instance. I believe it will be a disqualification up next for June Quinn. So I do want to give a quick shout out because I would say this has been a success. You know, the live shooting has really worked well. We've had great communication. You know, I think they've been judged fairly well. It's until we get to, you know, really difficult ones, and maybe like the LMP2 where they're, you know, you're bashing against the side of each other and they both maybe spin out, and you've got to try and punish one. Yeah, that's going to be the ones where you're going to be really intriguingly called out. So it'll be Andy Winters pushing on through. He's had a bit of a rough race, is that good old Andy. Surprised he hasn't fallen asleep this race so far. He still had quite the bit to do behind the wheel. Winters has just been pulling on through here. Remember, he's still got Christie to pit, Parker to pit, Hamilton to pit, Haskins to pit. So I believe that he's still got a great opportunity here. As we now wait for Elias Assad. Assad has dropped behind Andy Winters, which is super interesting, I'd say. I'm pretty sure he was... I can't remember where he quite emerged, because that didn't really come to my mind. Replays coming in right now. This is between Comstra and Chesterton. Big set up the inside from the Lamborghini. The BMW was pretty much left with nowhere to go, and Klomstra is going to do the gentlemanly thing of letting through that BMW. Good sportsmanship from Hammerland in that one. So tyres will be a big factor, I feel, at this part of the race. So it's Heineberger who's been leading for the majority of this race in the lead. Then we find Tom Mould, and it's Dan Reid, June Quinn, who's got 20 seconds worth of penalties, Barry Weatherston, and then it's going to be, I believe that's Yakir Rokash. However, I believe that Rokash is going to be going further down. Had a bit of an incident in the early stages. Now Ritalik is going to be in 7th so far. So it's been a little bit stalemate in the LMP2s, but you know, it's not been the most finest of races. But that's kind of the nature of Laguna Seca. Everyone's made pit stops. Still Parker, Hamilton, Haskins with 15 minutes remaining, so they are leaving it fairly late. It's between Comstra and Chesterton under investigation. I expect there's going to be a penalty. That was the spin for Chuck Retallick in the number 7. Luckily come away with that with no damage, but it's just a constant point there in that third corner. And here is the Ford Mustang Golf livery of Parker coming in. We haven't seen that all day, and he's gone too forward in his box, I think. But I think that's just about okay. It's a short pit stop there for the V8 roaring Ford Mustang. And he'll make his way now out of the pits ahead of Hassad, but I think only by just. The gap continues to close, but yes, Parker is ahead of Elias Hassad. Really well done in the pit stops there. Whatever has happened with Hassad in the start of the second stint, it's just not been what he's been hoping for. So it's the now latter stages that are going to be really complimentary toward the end of this race, I feel. With 13 minutes left of this race, again, you can just see how much Hassad is pushing, because he will now realise that he's lost out to Parker. Hamilton and Haskins won't be able to go to the end of this race, but what they will be able to do is push on forward. And this is Jake Christie's gone in. Oh, that was a rough move there from one of our, I think that was Barry Weatherston, going past the Lexus of what I believe would be, I'm not entirely sure on that one. But here is Christie making his way out the pit lane. Is he going to be ahead of Andy Winters here, down in towards turn 2, I should say, of Andretti? He's got to try and get the tyres up to temps here, but Andy Winters on that inside line of turn number 3 is going to take the position. Really, really good stuff from the Lexus driver, but Josh Christie is going to be right on the back of the Lexus in what could be a titanic battle with 12 minutes to go. But Christie will continue to push on forward. I believe that he is at the moment still in contention. You have to be quite true to yourself on this part. But you've now just got to try and get those tyres into working temperature before you can then go after that Lexus. You see how much he's really working the wheel, and really have to be worrying about Parker in behind. And we now see the BMW of Hamilton is coming into the pit lane. You see that little icon there. We've had a little bit of an error, I think, there from Haskins in the Ferrari. And the incident between Clumpster and Chesterton is no further action due to sportsmanship rules. The penalty would have been given out to Clumpster, but due to him waiting up, then they're not going to give it, which I think is, very, very fair. Somebody who hasn't had the most fair of races is Dennis Ike, trying to get back on the pedal, and there goes Michael Woods. So he's going to get another medal for his overtaking the bit of a jump there from the car guy's Ferrari that is owned usually by Kessel Racing. I say usually, most definitely owned by Kessel Racing. Nice to see that livery being brought into the game. Look at the hunk of cars here. There's a BMW there. There's 3 LMPs. So the McLaren. And that is Chris Jackson, who looks to have been slightly on there. That'll be a little bit of a disappointment in that case. So not long left to go, and that is going to be Parker. Parker with the yellow flag. Meanwhile, you have... Oh, and that is the wheel gone. The wheel is gone here on Parker. How has that happened for the Ford Mustang? Complete shock. Oh, he's been hit round by the Aston Martin. Oh, into the barriers. Horrible moment there for Clay Parker. Sorry, but he's going to have to Parker up. With the tyre loss. Now he's lost in the pit lane as well. Oh, that's double woes for Parker. He's managed to get that into his pit box, I believe. And tick down to the last 9 minutes left of the race here at Laguna Seca. It is almost 30 minutes, 5:30 in sim time in the US. And Parker just got absolutely sent. You're right there, director. He just got absolutely yeeted into the shadow realm, as Mr. Sturton Super GT likes to call it. Parker now gets a drive-through penalty. I think that's something to do with the pit lane. So don't worry, Parker is not being penalised for maneuvers. I think he's being penalised for something he did in the box in the pit lane without the tyre on. Race directors has noted it down, and it's currently just running the replays. And we will get another replay. And this was why Parker hit that penalty, that drive-through. I think we out of position. And again, it's another case of reversing. Here is Victor Dominant, who I think was one of the last drivers to hit. He was very lucky to avoid some of the absolute carnage that was happening. There is Barry Weatherston, yellow in one of the sectors. So let me have a guess. Was that down in turn 3? I have a suspicion that it may have just been. Here is Barry Weatherston. No, it wasn't at turn 3. Oh, that's hit him, a hit into the barrier. And Barry Weatherston is very... Barry, you are a one lucky boy. How on earth did he survive that one? Tried to go on the outside line. Andy Winters didn't know he was there. Maybe asleep at the wheel. Barry Weatherston gets casted into the outside barriers of turn 10. Would have been very much a different story in that case. And that is Yakir Rokash, a replay. Is that the same replay or a different replay? Because he suffered a similar fate about 30 minutes ago. Managed to get along his way. No, that was a different one, because the first one he was pointing at the track. He's been pointing toward the entry of the corkscrew, and now he is pointing only downhill. Madness happening towards the end of this race here at Laguna Seca at Monterey. Hey, Chrissy and Andy Winters. This is for the race lead down into the 10-11 corner. Oh, there's a bit of contact between the two. And now Winters will be on the push here. Flash from from Christie. He tried that outside line down in towards Andretti. Will he be able to try that outside line? We look back to the live action. He is now still behind, but he's lost a couple of tenths to the back of Winters.
absolute pandemonium. But I've seen worse pandemonium, but this is still quite pandemonium for what is essentially endurance racing. Oh, and that's going to be one of the Weatherspoons I saw just in the corner of the picture. More issues for both of them, dropping to the fabled numbers. You're not going to get a voice bite out of me saying 4.5 minutes left on the clock. There is our flag man. That green flag has been sticking in his hands the whole entire duration, but we'll have to switch it to the white flag at some point, and I think Josh Christie will be hoping that that doesn't come anytime soon, because he's still got an opportunity here. Mistake from Winters. They have to now see if Christie is going to try and see if he can get a run off turn 3 into 4. Trying to get the car rotated through the corner. The Weatherspoons are having an absolute mare, it seems. They're both flashing up yellows. They're sad they've been awarded a drive-through penalty. It wasn't a collision. So I believe that was with Parker. It's a stop-go penalty for another driver that just didn't quite catch. We are having a look at our little conversation that we're having between myself, the director, and race control. Is he going to try it on that outside line? I think the tyres are just starting to go here. Drive-through penalty there for Hassan Parker now with a penalty as well. But this could be the move here for Josh Christie off the exit of turn number 11. There goes the LMP of David of Liston. That's going to block the route here for Josh Christie. He's going to have to try that outside line unless he is very much valiant on that inside line. He knows he's got a little bit of time left on the offering, but it's still not a lot of time left on the board. Do they head through 3? Got to try and get a good exit at some point. Force Andy Winters into a mistake. He will poke the nose in through 4. And Josh Christie has been pushing the limits, chucking a bit of gravel and dirt onto the road. The fabled roads of Laguna Seca. A collision, I think, between 2 cars. I wonder if Weatherson and Parker have been involved with each other in the same sectors, both flashing yellow at the same time. As Josh Christie now looks to launch it up the inside. He was playing smart there. 2 minutes left to go. This is the hottest battle on the racing circuit. And no, I'm not talking about each other's looks. Christie through the right-hander of 10. The tyres must be starting to go. Here is the prime opportunity. There goes Josh Christie up the inside. Is he going to make the corner? No, he's not. He's going to go off into the gravel. Josh Christie had it in the palm of his hand and just braked way too late. The gap was closing thanks to Andy Winters, but Winters will survive once again. To Andretti hairpin. How much has he got left in the tank? Josh Christie. Get a replay of, I think, the move here. Here it is. Down into turn number 11. Jinks to the right. Oh, is that moving under braking? Is that moving under braking from Andy Winters? I want to question. Oh, I would love to know if we could get an onboard shot of Christie. Did Andy Winters move under brakes? This is on board now with Josh Christie. Yes, I think so. We've got maybe one or two more camera angles that can decipher this. But he's still going at it. Look at this between each other. This is the replay once again. Yeah, I think that's clear as day. Andy Winters is going to potentially lose the win of this race. I see what he was trying to go for. Try and minimize the space. that Christie was working at, was working with, I should say. That could have been. That is one of the more controversial parts of this race. With the clock has hit 0. Trying to figure out where our race leader is. In fact, I think he is just in behind. There he is. It will be Heineberger. To take victory here, but this is going to be one of the most intense final laps I think I'm going to commentate on, because I've commentated over dead heats before, but we're going to get a victory and we're going to get a run for the lead here. Through goes Andy Winters, through goes Christie, and this is going to be a win. Heineberger in behind can decide this. He can decide if it ends now or if they get one more lap. Down towards the last corner of turn number 11. Christie is going to exit that corner in second place. It's going to be a win for Niels. Heineberger will take victory here at Laguna Seca. But this is the battle we're all going to be watching. Down towards Andretti hairpin for the first time. Andy Winters is confirmed to be investigated after the race. So whatever stat you're about to put in for Andy Winters, don't make it a win, don't make it second place. It is under investigation post-race. This is what we're going for. It'll be Tom Mould in second. It'll be Reid in third. Again, Christie going defensive, but here comes Christie to try and move up into the lead, and he does for turn 6. Fantastic maneuver from Jake Christie, but I don't think it's over, because here comes Andy Winters. Is he going to do it down in towards the corkscrew? It's covered off by the Mercedes. A slide from Andy Winters of the exit of the corkscrew through 9. I think the tyre has gone on the Lexus. I think they are just kaput. There's not much he can do. And for Josh Christie, he would have fought and fought and fought. And in the end, the strongest warrior won. And Josh Christie wins in the LMGT3 class ahead of Andy Winters. But that penalty could be looming over his head. I don't think it's going to change the outcome of... I don't think it's going to change the outcome after a fantastic win. As Matt Haskins will look to cross the line, but there are your results. It is Niels Heineberger in first ahead of Tom Mould. Dan Reid will take a valiant third place. June Quinn, 20 seconds worth of penalties, takes him down to fourth with Yakir Rokash and Barry Weatherstone. It's been a horror show, what I feel, for both of the Weatherstones, because they are down in P6 with David Weatherstone in 7th. Then we find Josh Christie in P8, the winner in the LMGT3 category. I can't believe we went through 60 laps of the Laguna Seca. It'll be Winters from Hammerland in P10. What a fantastic one for them. Podium for Hammerland. Matt Haskins, Ben Oliver in 5th with Elias Assad only 6th place. A little bit of a disappointing result that he may feel in his books, with Dennis Ike and Chris Jackson. Wesley Comstra in the Lamborghini, followed by Michael Wood and Glenn Chesterton, with Craig Needham and DNF for him. Chuck Ritalik retires in the LMP2, and then we will go further down. We will find all of our DNFs. Clay Parker, Scott Cruz, unfortunately DNFing right toward the end. Exxon Badamosi with Tim Patrick and Rafael Figueredo, my apologies. And then Maltz Belling, who was in the comment section earlier, unfortunate retirement from him. Alan Axel, one of the first to DNF, and then the ones who didn't make it to the race. Carl Eastman, Gabriel Holmendal, Mark Harris. Is there anyone further down? from 30th, but there you go. Lilian Volkart, Lena Shearer and James Ling never turned up to the race. Well, that is it, folks. What an amazing race we've had at Laguna Seca. It was a little bit dull from the perspective of an LMP2 race, but for the LMGT3s, my God, it was an absolute thriller to cover on that part. I really I did enjoy that one quite a bit, especially right toward the end where the action just completely picked up. And well, what an absolutely fantastic race here. Well, I think that's it then for this third round of the championship. We'll be coming at you for the next round of the championship in a week's time, as our LMP2s and LMGT3s will then head to round 4 of the championship, where we will then head to the fantastic Imola circuit. We'll see you in 7 days' time when we head to the European leg of the championship. Take care, and we'll see you